cage.
Jim Grieshaber, Ryan Jimmo with Rick Reyes in the cage here at Rage in the Cage 173 in Phoenix at the Celebrity Theater. This next bout, a catchweight between Kirk the Juggernaut Washington, who you see there at 5'8", 205, and Joe Capo Gigliotti at 5'11", 192. First up, Jimmo, is Kirk Washington, 5'8", 205 pounds, out of Phoenix and PCP. He's a very strong fighter, as you see there. Good boxer, has some terrific athleticism as well.
Yeah, you know, I was watching him warm up a little bit in the cage earlier, and he was throwing some pretty impressive kicks. Looks like he has a Taekwondo background and a level of agility you don't expect from a guy who's 5'8", 205 pounds.
Washington stepping into the cage right now, and will take on Joe Capo Gigliotti, your teammate at Power MMA and Fitness, who comes in at 192 tonight. But you take a look at Washington there, as Joe Gigliotti will start to make his way in the cage. You can see what an athlete he is. Meanwhile, Gigliotti, very strong in his own right, a terrific wrestler with a lot of power in his hands.
Absolutely, and you can see right there, this is going to be an interesting matchup from two big, strong guys too. And Joe has a bit of a dichotomy about him, you know. He's like a little bit of he's not a pussycat in the gym, but in the cage, he turns into an absolute animal. It's an interesting thing to see because he's such a laid-back, nice guy in his everyday life, and then he gets in the cage. It's like when you watch him, it's almost like, who's that guy?
You see Team Power's head coach Aaron Simpson, also Ryan Darth Vader, UFC star, right there. Not only do they train with guys like Joe and guys like yourself being a UFC fighter, you guys are in their corners when they fight. You guys are there helping them learn, helping them get better, not only day in and day out in the gym, but when it comes to their fights, whenever you guys can be there and support them, you do it.
You know, they say fighting is it's an individual sport, but it's also a team sport. And you see it right there, where we all support each other and you help each other out and make sure you're functioning as a steady human.
Let's send it up to Rick.
And that brings up Terry. No, Izzy. God, Izzy. I just see the dark hair, I'm sorry. This is Izzy, ladies and gentlemen. One of our rage babes. Now for the principles of our next pro fight. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be very interesting. They both have a 1-0 record pro. Someone's going to get a loss tonight. Here it goes. On my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the brownish and black shorts. Hailing from Phoenix, Arizona, he's 5'8" inches tall, 205 pounds. Fighting out of PCP. Once again, he has a record of 1 win, no losses. Is Kirk the Juggernaut Washington. His opponent on my right, Mark Trump's red trim, fighting out of the blue corner. Sponsored by Freak of Nature, it comes to us from Gilbert, Arizona, where he fights out of Power MMA. He is 5'11", 192. He also has a record of 1 win, no losses. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Capo, Joe Capo Gigliotti.
All right, Kirk the Juggernaut Washington, Joe Capo Gigliotti at a catchweight, Washington at 205, Gigliotti at 192. Neither guy super tall, both very squatty and powerful. How much does the weight advantage help Washington here against Gigliotti, Jimmo?
That's 13 pounds, that's a lot. I mean, if you have 13 extra pounds leaning against you, or you have to pick up 13 extra pounds, it's not a fun thing, and that's why they have the weight classes. You know, that's why guys struggle and fight to get down to a different weight class. They're really only usually about 15 or 20 pounds in the first place, and we have that almost here. So we're almost fighting, Joe's almost fighting out of his weight class right there.
Went for an early takedown, couldn't get it. You saw the strength of Washington as Gigliotti throws that kick. Washington was pinned up against the cage. Look at that kick and that athleticism from Washington. Gigliotti better watch out.
Yeah, I told you earlier, I saw him warming up, and it looked like he had a Taekwondo background or a traditional martial art background. And there's athleticism coming to the forefront. Joe tried to pick him up, he dropped his hips and was able to get a...
Let me hear someone make
see the strength of Washington as Gigliotti with his back can't get the takedown. And he's a terrific wrestler, as we mentioned.
So Joe's got his back here. He's going to try to pick him up and dump him, but he's already tried 2 or 3 times and it hasn't been successful. So it's a little bit of an equation. How much energy do you want to output versus how much reward and give back you're going to get. So he has to pick and choose here, else it's really easy to get gassed out, picking up 205 pounds over and over again. And
Washington at 5'8", when he bends down like that and leans his weight into you. See some knees from Gigliotti now, makes it even more difficult. That's how you counter that, though, with those knees, kind of weaken those legs a little bit.
And those are nasty. Anyone who hasn't trained, knowing getting those knees or a kick to the leg, they really hurt. They give you a bad chart. We've all had a chariot horse where a friend's practicing the leg, and imagine a professional athlete drilling you there as hard as they can.
Gigliotti still being patient with Washington up against the cage.
Going for that single right here, the high crotch single. Oh, and he's good. Oh, almost got it there. Good defense.
Washington looks like he's gassed out a little bit already. And that takedown defense can be tough too.
It can as well. And another factor that comes in, he's taking this on a short notice fight too. So, I mean, we're going to see, as the fight wears on, I believe we're going to see Joe's, who's in peak shape, start to take more and more incentive in this fight.
And Gigliotti, of course, is training at Power MMA and Fitness every single day with guys who fight in the UFC, which makes a big difference for him, as Washington starting to throw some knees at Joe Gigliotti now. Capo, one of the top prospects in Arizona, certainly looking to make his way into the UFC. And you look at him, and Aaron Brown's
nice
another
elbow
one in your gym, as Gigliotti crushes Washington with that right.
Yeah, and here's the thing about what
another one.
Oh, big right hands, and is that takedown going to work?
Finally got one, almost. Yep, there he goes.
Gets reversed. Wrestlers don't like being on their back, so this is somewhere that Joe wants to get out of, and this is something that Washington wants to take advantage of.
Great job with the leverage by Washington to use Gigliotti's takedown and body weight against him, as Washington trying to connect from the top with blows to Gigliotti in the head and the face.
And that's something that you might see, a little extra power, a little extra weight to throw around when you're fighting almost a whole weight class up.
Gigliotti able to get up. Nice job by him.
And getting up and down, that is completely exhausting. That is the most tiring thing. You see right now they're a little slower immediately after that little exchange. So, oh, wow, that was a slow kick.
Starting to gas out a little bit is Washington. It looks like Gigliotti wore him down a little bit up against that cage.
And that's a perfect strategy for Gigliotti. If you take a fight, if you're fighting a guy that's taking something on short notice, you just want to lean on him, wear him out a little bit, and you know that eventually he's going to start slowing down significantly, and you can take advantage.
It looks like both guys slowing down a little bit here as we move on in round number 1. Of course, this fight, 3 3-minute rounds here tonight, like every fight is. As Gigliotti continues to press Washington up against the cage. He's won the round so far, although neither guy really all that convincing. Looking to make their mark here toward the end of the round as Gigliotti continues to press Washington up against the fence.
Right now, I think Joe just needs to pick up his activity level right here, start throwing a little more, throwing more knees. And Washington's got to get out of here. This is not a good spot for him. He just,
Joe buckles him down. Starts to hit him from the top. Look out, Washington could be in trouble. I think he's out of gas, and he's on his last leg here. Gigliotti raining down blows from the top. And that's it.
That's it.
Joe Gigliotti gets the TKO stoppage here in round number 1. A big win for Gigliotti over Washington, who looked good early.
Wow, there were some big punches that Joe was raining down, and there was really, Washington wasn't defending them at all. That was an excellent stoppage by the ref, and you gotta be happy for Joe.
How much of that was Gigliotti with the punishment, and how much of that was Washington just running out of gas, fighting those takedowns for that entire round? Yeah,
it's hard to say. Some guys get way out of shape in their off season, and some guys are in the gym consistently, and it depends on the person. Everyone does their job a little bit differently, so it's hard to say how good a shape he was in, but it looked like he was gassing out and slowing down there, so I'm sure that was a bit of a factor, but great performance for Jeff.
Yeah, and we saw some pretty crisp and clean, quick kicks by Washington early, and that last kick he threw had nothing on it, pretty slow-mo, as they shake hands in the center of the cage, and Joe Gigliotti picks up win number 2 inside the cage. Ryan Jimmo heads up into the cage to interview Gigliotti post-fight, and we send it up to Rage in the Cage ring announcer Rockin' Rick Reyes with the decision.
seconds to the very first round. Your referee, Al Kane, stops due to strikes. Your winner, fighting